Well, we're live. I think we're live. We'll get going in a minute, as per usual. See if I can make amends from last week, because I totally messed up last week because I simply am not tacky. There you go. So we'll get a few on here in just a minute. As soon as I get one, I'll get going straight away. Let me just have a little drink of this tea. Believe it or not, I've had a shave and I'm feeling good this morning. Or am I? No, I'm feeling tired. I'm feeling absolutely shattered. Let's just shut this door a minute. Here we go. Shut this window. We don't want to hit the neighbours listening to what we're actually talking about in here today. There you go. Shut. Well, there you are, 10 live viewers, absolutely perfect. Thanks for joining the Saturday morning live stream with Johnyboy. There's a few things I've got to read. First of all, I've got to say my apologies for last week, because I want to bring these live streams on a regular basis, and I messed up last week. I messed my hair up this morning, but I messed up last week simply because I couldn't rotate the screen, and for some reason the microphone wasn't working. So we need a check straight away this morning to make sure that the microphone or the camera is working. If you can hear me, it'd be great to have a thumbs up. I promise you, I have washed my hair. We've got a thumbs up. If you can hear me, that'd be great, and we can crack on. We've got another thumbs up. There we go. I don't know if we've got anybody can make a little comment to say that you can hear me. But here we go. Got to say, regular messaging. Oh, we got a big thumbs up. Cheers, guys. I tell you what I've done. I've got my glasses. We've got Pip joined us. Jamie Fours has joined us. Thanks very much, guys. Appreciate it. Regular messaging, because I've got to get this right, haven't I? You know, week in, week out, because this live broadcast. Good morning, John Ward. Yeah, doing good. I owe John an apology as well. So regular messaging as we start the live stream. This is what it says here, regular messaging. If you haven't tried ITS yet, why not give them a go? Next day delivery when you order by 7 p.m. ITS price promise. ITS refuse to be beaten on price by either Screwfix or Toolstation. So check them out first. I'm not getting paid by Screwfix or even Toolstation. So ITS have got a price promise, to check them out first. Over 18,000 5-star Trustpilot reviews. See our customers to have to say what they say about us. Over 18,000 5-star Trustpilot reviews. So see what our customers have to say about ITS. And don't forget the Johnyboy, Johnny truck still valid on orders over £100. Look, it's a truck, isn't it? It's in there. It's in the cupboard. You've seen it. If you want to see it now, we'll get it out. We'll get the truck out. But you can get a remote control truck on any orders over £100. Lee Watson, I want to put a pergola on porcelain patio using diamond drill bit. Any advice to prevent cracking of tile? Great work, by the way. Sheedle, how's it going, bud? Good to see you on here. Yeah, Lee, I'll tell you now, I'm glad that you mentioned that, because I have, let's get the checklist. That's one of the things I was going to be talking about this morning, and here we go. Well, you know, Lee, I've been using that little Ruby ECD 115. It's a 2-in-1, but that's a cracking little blade. But they've got this blade called, this isn't the exact one that I use, but it's a similar blade to this. It's a TV Super Pro from Ruby. And I'll tell you something now, I don't know if any of you guys follow me on Instagram, but I posted a picture on Instagram this morning. This little blade absolutely flew. It flew through that porcelain. I'm not kidding you. I'm absolutely blown away. What it cut was absolutely incredible. I mean, I was just gobsmacked. It's a dry blade. If you look closely there, it's got this little, let me just see if I can see it there. Look, little image there with a no water, okay? A little symbol saying no water. This is this little Ruby. I've posted a vlog on it this week, and you'll be able to see that, because I'm going to be loading it up again. I can't remember the actual, but if you check the vlog out, or maybe I'll be able to put it in the description after of actually what I used. It was absolutely incredible. And the porcelain it cut, and then what I've been doing this week, I've been putting a Brazilian black slate bullnose step as a coping stone towards the end. Cut out the ruby blade angle grinder and go below the surface. Don't secure the pergola to the porcelain, mate. It'll rip the lot up. Yeah, absolutely. So there we are straight away. This is what this community is about. There's John Ward there offering Lee some advice. Yeah, don't secure to the porcelain. Cut through. You can actually cut through the porcelain by using core cutters in the corner to ensure that the tension and it doesn't break. What I would probably do, Lee, and like John say, just try and cut through after when it's all bedded in. And what you find then is when the porcelain is bedded to the mortar, it helps with the tension, because with porcelain, what happens when you start cutting through it, there's this tension that's caused, and it can undercrack or overcrack and pull away. And the idea is that when you're cutting, you go down nice and even and parallel, dropping down on both ends, the end before and the end after. You just got to take your time with it. But this little blade, I use this little blade, and it was absolutely amazing. I was just blown away by it, and I can't believe they're not actually even talking about it, because it was just brilliant, absolutely brilliant using this blade. Matthew Cooper, reference 509999. Good morning all, good morning to you. Pip, sorry Pip. Wet or dry under my porcelain slabs. Well, you can use wet cutters, obviously, but obviously in certain situations they like you to use these blades, and they're a dry cut blade. This is a particular dry cut wet blade, and it works. But the most important thing, you need to wear some PPE with all blades when you're cutting. And I've done something really wrong this week. I didn't have my mask on. I was so used to cutting it with a wet saw, and I started cutting it with a grinder. I didn't have my mask on, so I apologise for that, and I admit to that. John Ward says we usually try to get it in a corner, cut it out completely. Try not to get the centre of any tile. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you want it, depending on where your posts are actually sitting, Lee, on there, you've got to make sure that you actually, if you got a hole or a square going in the center of the slab, what I would probably tend to do, well, I think you could do it with this, but you've just got to be so careful. If you drill in the corners with a pilot hole, you can get a little core cutter to go through, and then what you can do is that will take the tension out the four corners, drill a couple of holes in. You can get, even if you went into top tiles, I'm sure they'll be able to do them in there. It's a tiling skill, and this is the thing, this is what we spoke about for some time, about adapting some tiling skills, and the tilers will tell you, into the industry that we're in. I'm looking a bit red this morning. Where's my list? Oh, here's my list. So if anybody needs any advice on this, you can see John Ward's coming up with plenty of advice there, trying to help. Just message him. I'm sure John will be more than willing to help if he can. It's always difficult when people message you, because some weeks you've got time to actually to be able to deal with the questions. And I always say, give me a ring. I will help if I can. And if I can't, I can't. Just because of workload. I posted a picture this morning on Instagram about workload. Workload is a difficult thing for all of us, and depends on what our workload is. Will depend on how much time we have available to speak to people week in, week out. John Ward says we usually try to get in the corner. Yeah, as he said there. Yeah, absolutely. So John's on here to help. If you do want to talk to me after this live stream, just give us a ring. I'm here, I'm available. I'll give it a half an hour to answer some questions if I can. So my number is, as usual, 07795 595 994. If you do want to call in this morning and have a chat with me, you can call in on 07795 664 002. Sorry, I was asking if I should use a wet or dry mix to lay my porcelain. Well, I've talked about this for some time. Is if you're using a dry mix, you should be able to form a ball with it, and you've got to make sure that in the weather we've been having, that your mortar doesn't dry up. I wouldn't put too much water in I just seen something come out. I wouldn't use too much water in your mortar, as certainly, because it's certainly in this weather it will evaporate and you'll get that delamination because you get rapid evaporation of the water. Matthew Cooper says, do you think the demand for landscapers will drop off next year? Well, I think it will, Matt. I think at some point, and this is a good point because this is actually on my list this morning. Yeah, I think it will drop off, and I don't know what you actually think about it, John, but I think it will drop off for a number of reasons. I think that there will be people going back on holiday. Already they're talking about if two parents have had the double vaccine, they can start going away and taking their children away. And I think that you'll see the airline industry getting back to normal, and it will. I think it's so ambiguous out there at the moment for many reasons. If you look at some of the football matches, there's hardly been any. They've only allowed like 25% in the stadiums, and now you've seen the other night Portugal play in France. If you've been watching the football, it's such a valid question, Matthew Cooper, about that. You see Portugal play in France the other night. It was just a capacity crowd, and maybe the infection rates will start rising again. But I really feel there's an underlying agenda here that they want to get back to some normality at some point, and I think this is what's going to happen. You see it happening all the time. But I think one thing that will stay with us is the wearing of masks. The wearing of masks is going to stay with us. So there you go. I think it will return to normal in some respect, but it's going to be a little bit of a while because we got the shortage of products, and that was one of the things I was going to get onto now at the moment. Is all around the world at the moment we have a shortage of products, and certainly in the UK, trying to get products to come into the UK, and simply because the Chinese are taking up all those containers, okay, and we got to. It's a difficult one. You're looking for a product, but it's, I know MBW, the compactor plate company in Manchester, are really struggling with the price of containers are just going through the roof massively. The price of containers going through the roof. John Ward says everyone will have enough of sitting in the garden and doing work around the house. So money now will be spent. Now money will be spent on holidays instead of around the house, but we will carry on. Good firms adapt and survive. Yeah, absolutely. We will adapt and we will get over it. And I think a lot of people out there will agree with myself and John and a few of the other guys that are actually on here that we've had a massive influx into the landscaping industry. Alison says, I think it's still going to be busy next year from people who couldn't get their gardens completed this year. Yeah, absolutely. I totally agree with you. But I think at some point it will slow down and don't think it's ever going to get back to normality because there's a lot of people. We've had a massive influx of lots of people wanting to be landscapers and contractors because they've been laid off and the work isn't in there. And again, one of the biggest reasons that we're suffering at the moment is there's a shortage of drivers in the country to get product out there. Now is probably a good time to be a driver because they'll be paying good money. It's not the sort of thing I want to do. Again, spend all my time on the road. I'd be absolutely bored with it. But that's no disrespect to any driver out there. It's a hard job. It's a hard slog every day, traipsing up and down the country. And I take my hat off them. Clive Drummond's joined us this morning. Agreed with next year should be okay, but towards the end of the year might be a hit. Yeah, I think it will. I think at some point it will slow down and things will happen. Definitely people are throwing money at their properties because they can't holiday at the moment. Yeah, totally. It's just the way it is. Let's just remind you of the number this morning if you want to call in. I haven't arranged any calls this morning. The number is 07795664002. Just, I'm going to open up and be honest with you, I owe John Ward a massive apology because John had won the Suction Cup. And here it is. It's in the bag, okay? I'll explain in a minute. And it's in there with his Landscaping Survival sticker. Landscaping Survival with Johnyboy sticker. He can stick that on his van if he'd like to. John, the reason that I never got this out to you because I got totally confused between contacts on my iPhone and how it was on my Android and the contacts, and though you messaged me and I thought I'd saved your number, but I hadn't. So Alison has now in her possession your address. So I can guarantee you, because the way she is, you will be receiving your suction cup this week. Okay, so your suction cup will be out to you. Look, guys, I can't give one away this week, but what I'm going to be doing is that in the future, we're going to get Ruby to give one of these away on a live stream. We've given one away to John Ward. He'll be receiving his very, very soon. But what I'm going to try and do, if you go online and have a look at the ECD 115 or any of the Ruby blades, like I said, they're not paying me to say this. I can read what John says there. And we're going to try and give one of these blades away in the show this week. But one thing I am going to do this week, if you are a landscaper or a contractor and you want a sticker, drop us an email at info@landscapingsurvival.com and we'll get your sticker out to you free of charge. Free of charge, yeah, absolutely. I haven't told Alison yet, but that's going to happen. So if you want a landscape survival sticker to go on the back of your van, we've got some stickers here and we'll send them out to you. Just drop us an email, info@landscapingsurvival.com. Remember, try and support this channel, by sharing these live streams and any of the videos that you see. And of course, if there's anything you want to talk about on this show, just let us know. You may be a consumer, you may be a contractor, or you may be a commercial supplier that wants to get your product to the marketplace. So let us know. Let me just read what John Ward says there. He says, I'm going to quote him, "Bloody hell, forgot about that. I'll put it up on one of my works fan and send you a photo." That'd be absolutely brilliant, John, if you could do that. Send us 6. I'll put them up on both sides of the land. No problem at all. I'll do that now. While we're here, here they are. I'm going to get them out now because John Ward asked. He said send him 6. He'll put them up on. So you've got 3 vans, John, on the road. So let's just get these out now so you can actually see the proof is in the pudding and I've actually done it. Alison won't mind. There we are, as per usual. Here we are. We've got 1 in there, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There you are, John. There's your stickers coming out to you this week. We're going to put those in there. You can have those and you can put those on the van. And John, I really, really appreciate it. The thing is about the landscape and survival with Johnyboy is about building branding and building brand awareness and bringing people together. Good morning, Carl McGlynn. Carl, it'd be good to know where you're calling from this morning. Hey, guys, Alison says, John Ward, you are the same as John. We are fully booked until August next year, and I closed our books in February. Yeah, absolutely mad. Totally mad. Carl McGlynn, good morning, Carl. Be nice to know where people are actually calling from this morning because we want to know a little bit more about you and what you do and the reasons and why you're joining this live stream this morning. Again, I'm going to give the number out if anybody wants to call this morning. The number is 07795 664 002. You can call in now and we can take your call and discuss anything that you want to actually talk about. Yeah, COVID at the moment, as we said, the stadiums are starting to fill up. We've got the Olympics happening soon. There's been a lot of controversy about that and how they're going to go about it. And of course, we've got a great sporting event going on today with the Lions playing up in Scotland. I don't know, does anyone know if they've got a crowd or is it open up to the public today? I don't know. They'll have some in there because I know the rugby had experimented with it. Carl McGlynn from Manchester. I'm a landscape gardener. Carl, we want to know about what you do. I'd be interested to sort of talk to you and listen to what you're doing. Welcome to the Saturday morning live with Johnyboy. Do you know, it's great having you guys on here. Honest, John Allen has joined us. Gareth Jones. Good morning, John Allen. Gareth Jones says 16,000, I believe, John. 16,000. Oh, for the rugby, yeah, I know. But did you see the other night with the France Portuguese game? They had a full capacity crowd. That's what it looked like to me. Absolutely filled to the brim completely. Gareth Williams, good morning, mate. Guys, just going to get through this. We've mentioned a few things. I've had a really, really busy week. I mean, I'm just, I'll be honest, come Saturday morning, I have a cold beer on a Friday night, and certainly, due to the weather, I just fancy a cold beer when you come back. But it's so important to take some water on and hydrate through the course of the day, and you may not want so many beers. Not that I drink absolutely loads. If I was to have 4, I'd be gone. And it's always difficult there in the night time. When you've had a beer in the day, it's great when you come back. It's cold beer, quench your thirst, but it doesn't really quench your thirst, does it? The water quenches your thirst. Did anybody see Ronaldo moving the bottle of Coca-Cola and saying that that's no good for you where the water is? Interesting, wasn't it? Interesting him actually doing that. Luke Davies is on here. Hi, Johnyboy. Greetings from West Wales. Luke, is that where you're from? That's right. I remember now. Yeah, absolutely. Good morning. How you doing, mate? And just like to see our regular viewers coming down here and joining us this morning. Lots of things to talk about. We do revisit some of the things, the content that we're actually speaking about, simply because as and when people join. So I was talking about workloads at the moment. I don't have to manage my workloads. Well, I do. Alison and I go through it thorough. And in an ideal world, wouldn't it be nice to, if you were scheduling customers in and you just give them a number, because that would be real. That would reflect your schedule and how you're going about things, because we put too much pressure on ourselves as contractors and consumers in expectations of when we're gonna start. Our current clients, I'm going to mention their names because they've watched some of the lives, some of the videos. Sharon and Russell, I mean, they've been absolutely brilliant. I mean, love working with them. They've been, I mean, so funny. If you've noticed on some of the vlogs I've got, Russell's appeared in some of the videos, the clips. I think he's a little star in the making. But they've been really, really good. And we had to postpone their job 3 times. 3 times we had to postpone their jobs. Let's just listen to what John Ward has to say. John Ward says, 14 hours a day for me. I'm in the office doing VAT. Busy time, customer and materials, so it's difficult to organise at the moment. Yeah, absolutely. It's a difficult thing. Luke Davies says, do you get any materials from Leeks? Think there's one in Lantrisson. The one by us is pretty competitive pound-wise. Yeah, I have used Leeks, Luke, down in Cross Hands, I think it is. I've gone in there before. For any of the viewers that are actually watching us at the moment, Leeks are, I would say, a high-end. They were conservatory, orangery construction work they used to do, and they used to put those in. But they have got a merchants, but they've also got a department store. So Leeks is a very high-end product. I think they were on the tally a little while ago, Luke, because they had a problem with where they didn't quite perform as what they should have done. Let's just get through this list a moment. We've got a few live views at the moment. Look, don't forget, mind, if you can give this a like, this video a like, I'd really appreciate it. It's good for the analytics. And don't forget, get your friends to watch it as well, so try and share these videos, try and get people to like it, and subscribe to the channel. Let's build the channel, let's build a community, because if we build a community, it's about education, and that's how we improve. So we've got the section going out. The other thing which I've done, which I got to apologise, I'm full of apologies this morning. I always am. It's the story of my life, because I'm always opening my big mouth for not doing the things that I should be doing. Jameson's Brickworks in the Midlands. Just check him out on Instagram. His brickwork is absolutely amazing. He is the winner of the Trend stackable storage product. And I haven't got that out to him simply because, again, my phone, not used to it. So he will be having, our buddy from Jameson's Brickwork will be having his product this week. Because as soon as I finish this, I'm going to go outside and I'm going to go into the undisclosed location. Maybe I'll do a live stream on YouTube from the undisclosed location soon. And we will be getting Jameson's Brickworks out his prize. Look, next week, I'm going to be giving away one of these. So tune in. If you want something to dry cut your porcelain, okay? I said dry cut. Didn't say try anything else at all. We're going to be giving one of these away next week. Hopefully, it's going to be Ruby that's going to be giving it away, not me. They don't know it yet, but because I haven't told them. Let's have a look what Luke Davies says there. Yes, I think that their Windows installation, reputation, conservatory stuff isn't great, but I think they are trying to break the market around here with their building materials and stuff. Yeah, absolutely. It's been a long time since I've gone in one of their stores, Luke, and that's roughly where you must be by the looks of it. John Allen says, if you have to raise the patio area by 12 inches before laying, would you use bigger material first and then MOT to get the required level? Any advice, please? Thanks. Well, John, all I would say is that normally they would always start with bigger material, but certainly in a domestic situation, you're saying you're coming up, is it 12 inches? 12 inches. I would just use an MOT type 1, just bring it up, but compact it at intervals. That's the most important thing. Don't build up the level that you want to build up to, whatever the sub base is, whatever the level is. Don't build up too much and try and compact it, because you won't compact it. I would bring that probably 3 inches, 4 inches, somewhere around there, compact it, then bring it up again. And if you wanted to, you could put a lean mix on the top if you wanted, then just to fine it off and bind it all. And that would give it some rigidity and give it longevity. But certainly you could use some hardcore, but make sure you break your hardcore up, all those brick rubble, all that brick rubble, that concrete, break it up, smash it up completely. And in some cases, I'm sure a lot of you guys will know about it, is that you can get crushers. You can hire a crusher into the garden to recycle all your product. It's such a good thing to do. It's great for the environment. Instead of getting those skips in, yes, you have to pay for it, but you're keeping everything in-house, and it saves you less product to actually get in. But just be careful and take some advice when hiring one of these. And Aspe Anthony, morning Johnny, watched a lot of your videos, picking up some tips. Notice you lay on a lean mix bed. Could you explain how it works and what's the difference to MOT sub base? Would you use it on sandstone? Clive Drum says not a huge amount, so MOT 1 all good. Luke Davies says, I can read what Luke says. Yeah, I'm 2 minutes away from Cross Hands at the store, which is quite handy. You ever used Bedeck interior paint, Johnyboy? Apparently as good as Osmo, but water-based. No, I haven't, Luke. Luke, if you could send me a picture of that, it'd be good to see. I think it's called Bedeck Barn Paint. John Allen, 300 mil, not a lot, but buy MOT from wholesale merchants, unbaked, not from builders merchants, will be a lot cheaper. Yeah, absolutely. Just trying to keep up here now. There's quite a few coming in here. Can you please explain what the lean mix is about and done by the... Yes, I've watched nearly all your videos, top class. I have some footpaths in there. Right, okay, well basically, I'll start talking. A lean mix. Well, a lean mix was basically years ago. A lean mix was used when we used to do a lot of driveways, pathways, road building. You would always put an MOT in type 1, and then you would build it up, making sure that you'd have a geotextile underlay on the substrate. That's entirely up to you. But the reason for putting a lean mix in is that basically it creates a rigid system and it doesn't move and it doesn't crack, unlike concrete. People always think that concrete is hard, but the more water you put in concrete, the weaker it actually becomes, because it fragments, and you have to put steel in it, and then it becomes expensive. So you can build up, it's entirely up to everybody how they want to do it. But for me, you can build up with an MOT, okay? Then you can put a lean mix on, so you reduce the height maybe 3 to 4 inches if you want to do it. It's entirely up to you. It may be the case that you've only got a small patio, so economically it's okay to put that in. It won't be too expensive. But what it does, it creates a bed on the top, and you can pack that in the same way as what you would an MOT. And for me, it just keeps some rigidity about the paving. But if there was some movement, it wouldn't crack. Unlike concrete, as I'm saying, it will fragment. The more cement you put in concrete, the more it will heat up. In the respective temperature, that's when you get the fragmented. What you've got to think of in a lean mix. A lean mix is almost like a block paving brick. And if you look at the manufacturing process of block paving bricks, so if you took, for example, Tobmore, the way they make the blocks and hydraulically pressed products, they are compacted, hydraulically compacted, and there's very little water in them, but you'll never see a block paving brick will actually crack. generally, you know, only if you hit it. But basically, it will stay together and your mortar will adhere to that a lot better. But please take note in weather conditions where it's very hot, what we tend to do if we have a lean mix, we put an SBR on the top to stop the lean mix sucking all the water out of the mortar that you're laying on the top. That's when you get that delamination. You get it between the mortar and the slab, and you can get between the mortar and the lean mix. She's leaving me again. Debbie McGee's off. Maybe she'll bring me something nice back. Maybe she'll make me a cup of tea before I go. So, no, you can take that if you like. That's absolutely fine. If you've seen her this morning, she's looking really good. Maybe she'll get the kettle on. Yeah, so a lean mix. Sorry about that, but we got to sort of introduce our new viewers to the show and what we do on here. The show, the podcast, whatever you want to call it. But Debbie McGee, she comes in now and again just to help and assist me. So if you want to call in this morning, you can't because the phone is off now. The battery is gone. But if you want to call in the future and want to speak to me, you can call me on 07795 595 994. It's amazing, John, isn't it? That, you know, I've done a few videos on a lean mix, and I was just talking about what we used to do in civil terms years ago, many years ago, and they're still doing it now. There's nothing wrong with lean mix. It works well for me. And I think the thing is, where a lot of people go wrong is that when they're installing their products, sometimes that product hasn't been quarantined enough. For example, I see so many projects where MOT comes in, type 1, and it comes absolutely soaking wet, and it has lots of soft pockets in it, and that's no good at all. And those soft pockets, basically what will happen is that water will transfer to another area, and then it hasn't been compacted. And that's the thing, you see, is that when you start unrolling your MOT, you should be compacting it as you go, okay? Because if it does rain, it just ruins it, and you've just got to wait then. In an area, Luke says, an area of my driveway has dropped block paving. How would you go about removing the dropped area and building up again and relaying it? Well, what you've got to do, Luke, you'll actually remove an area bigger than the problem area itself, and because you've got to be able to get a compactor plate in. But also, instead of hiring a compactor plate, you could buy one of those rammers, okay, one of those tarmac rammers. They're only about sort of 200 by 200, and they do massively compact. And what you've got to remember is, when they built the Great Wall of China, they did it with what they call earth ram walls, and they would have rammed that down with some implement replicating a product like the tarmac rammers. So you don't necessarily need to hire a compactor plate. The only thing you've got to make sure is that you dig out that area. If there's any soft pockets in there, remove that because it's not quarantined, but get it in pretty fast and just ram it with one of those tarmac rammers. In fact, you probably could hire one of those as well. It may be a bit cheaper. Or if you've done one and you want to sell it to me after, you can do that to me at all. Just got to say thank you to Nidge up in Stoke-on-Trent for sorting out the Raimondi. He had a Raimondi Pedalo system, and I just got to remind and say thanks, Nidge, for the letter. Really appreciate it. It was really good to actually have. Thank you very much. Here she is again, Debbie McGee. Just bought me a cup of tea, and she always puts the tea in with the milk as well. So thank you, Debbie, for that. Let me have a little drink. So yeah, just got to say massive thanks to Nidge for allowing Ryan to pick it up. Ryan lives up in Crewe. Ryan is working with me at the moment. Ex-British soldier, brilliant guy in the Royal Irish Rangers. He's been helping me out. Absolutely inspirational. He's going to be with me for a while. Love working with Ryan, and I hope that he's watching this morning, but I don't think he is because he hasn't commented yet. Let's just read a few things, what people say. John Ward says, a lean mix, mate, doesn't mean you don't slurry the stone or lay it. You need to spray the sub-base with a very fine spray of SBR and water, weather permitting. There we are. Couldn't put any better than what John Ward actually said there. So what we don't want is when you put the lean mix down and you're using that bedding water, you don't want to be sucking all the water out there. I love it. It's great. It's it's like having John on the team, isn't it? It's like a dream team having John Ward on here. There's a few others normally that are on here. Thanks for the information. Got a load of bits to do around the outside of my house. Luke, let us know how you get on, mate. Send a picture. Fadi Mohareb. So is the Lee mix something we can order straight? Couldn't it get it anywhere? We actually make it using MOT and cement. Yeah, it's not MOT, it's MOT. It's all in. It's stone, sand and stone. That's what it is. Just the same way as you make concrete, but it's more dry. You can actually order it direct from the concrete suppliers, okay? But depending on your area, you don't need so much of it. You can mix it up yourself. It's not a problem at all. And I normally mix it about 15-1. Alison is talking to John Ward there. In my driveway. There we are. How far in advance are you booked up for out of interest? Well, hope that works for you, Alison. Yeah, we're booked up. I think I don't know if Alison's still watching this at the moment, but we're booked well into next year. Fadi, no problem at all, bud. If you want to talk about that again, give us a call after the live stream. My number is 07795 595 994. I'll be in. I'll be happy to take some calls this morning because that's what this service is all about. If you are enjoying this channel, don't forget to share it around because it will help people. If you want to share it onto your Facebook group, if you want to share it onto any of your social media platforms, feel free to do it. There's a few things. Oh yeah, absolutely. So I don't even know what Debbie's done with it, but the sealer is here. The sealer is here. So Elements Sealer, the impregnating breathable sealer is here. Ryan, we're going to get Ryan, the chemist, on here soon to do a live stream. We're going to do some stuff on Instagram, probably on Twitter, and maybe also on LinkedIn, and definitely on YouTube about the sealer. The sealer has arrived. You can get it in a 1 gallon, or I don't know, what is it, 5 litres, 1 gallon can. You can order that. Go to their website, which is elemental.co.uk, www.elemental.co.uk, or just drop me an email. Drop me an email at info@landscapingsurvival.co.uk. They're ready to start making the solvent sealer, but they've got a water-based, an aqueous sealer for porcelain and sandstone alike. So if you're looking for a sealer, we can talk about sealer anytime. We're going to get Ryan on here. Hopefully, I tried to call him this morning, but he recently had a baby, so congratulations to Ryan and Rebecca on that. But yeah, if you're looking for a sealer, we'll be able to get that to you. John Ward says, balance in the term of what you need for dry mix. You can order it from firms that mix and pour, but usually it's not worth it because it's easy for us. But diners might. Sorry, John, I couldn't read that. Yeah, so John's saying you can mix it. It's very easy to do, no problem at all. But when you squeeze it, you don't put too much water in. You want to form a ball with it so it doesn't fall apart, just a little bit damp, and it does work. I'll be showing a few more pictures on that soon of how it's worked on the current project we're on. And it doesn't crack, that's the thing about it. Ryan looks great, lad. That's a great position, to be fair, in play, but quite stressful at the sometime knowing how, Yeah, it is. Do you know, Luke, I don't know what you actually do for a living, but it just drives me insane being so far booked up. It's not the where I want to be, because I always feel that we're missing out on other customers, though we've got some real good customers booked in the future as well. But I just don't want to be booked so far in advance, and it'd be great to have a bigger team, but it doesn't always necessarily work like that. If you're watching this morning, Cameron and Ali down in Haverfordwest down there, just to let you know, things are underway as we speak. Things are afoot. Your design is happening. We're doing a design for a lovely couple down in West Wales there, and it's happening as we speak. So don't worry, it's getting there, and I will update you hopefully sometime this week. Yeah, I just got to say big thanks to everyone who on the YouTube channel that have commented on how the quality of the video footage has improved. And the reason it's improved is because we've been using the Canon 80D. There we are. Here's a Canon. I've got the dust mask. We've been using this all week But I was really worried. I was really worried about getting the dust on here and the fingers. You got the cement and everything, and scratching the liquid crystal display on the back. So I just turn that round now as well. It just doesn't feel right taking such a good camera on site. But then if you're vlogging about things, and that's what I thought about, is that if you're going to start providing quality imagery and you want it to look clear, crystal clear, and the sound as well, you need to go down that route. I need to get a dust cleaner. I don't think I'd be using this in a wet, but then again, you've got other things to use. But let's hope that it just carries on improving. What we have on here, we have this Rode directional microphone, and what I found is that when I'm speaking, it sounds a bit muffled from behind, but obviously in the front, because it's a directional microphone, it is actually working. We haven't got to use this yet. Well, we've used it, but I still can't. I've just got to get through how to upload it. This has got the microphone all built in on the back. So I'm going to be loading. I'm going to be in the office now this morning. So if anybody wants to give me a ring to discuss anything that we've talked about this morning, hey, look at that. She brought me that today, this dust mask thing. So yes, anybody wants to sort of phone in this morning, I'm going to be in here. I'm going to be editing the video. I'm more than free. I love to talk to people. I like to help people. So just give us a call this morning, and we can talk about anything that we've actually discussed, or if there's anything else that you actually want to talk about. Yeah, it's so important that we try and get the quality of the video footage out. So I'm going to be editing some stuff this morning. I'm going to take my time with it. I'm always in a hurry. It's not good at all when I'm actually doing that. So we've covered everything. We've covered the quality of the cameras, the vlogging, the Ruby Blade. We're going to be giving one of those away next week. Elements Sealer. Go on there. If you're on Instagram, have a look. Elements. They've got a sealer. It's a breathable sealer. We've talked about getting those prizes out to Jameson's Brickwork and John Ward. He's going to have 6 landscape and survival sticker. If you're looking for a landscape and survival sticker, drop us an email, info@landscapeandsurvival.com. So John will be having a suction cup, workloads and the effects of work. So we never talk about the effects of workloads. Well, we did in a way. I'm absolutely burnt at the moment. Saturday morning for me is I just need a rest. And though I said I'm going to be working on this, I bet you at some point I will be catnapping within an hour. But if you want to give me a ring, that's no problem at all. We've covered lots of things. Don't forget that this live stream is sponsored by ITS. And just going to read what they say, because I really value ITS, because there's a couple of things I want to show you. So ITS are supporting you, okay? And they say, if you haven't tried ITS, why not give them a go? Next day delivery when you order by 7 p.m. It's a price promise. ITS will refuse to be beaten by either Screwfix or Two Stations, so check them out. Over 18,000 5-star Trustmark reviews. See what our customers have to say about us. Don't forget that anything over £100, you get your Johnyboy truck, your remote control truck. But before we go any further, you're going to like this. Let me just have a little drink. ITS have been fortunate to have a contract to deal with steel now, but all their cordless lot. So here we have this is what they sent me, and they want to showcase. Here we go. This is the new steel cordless edge trimmer. I'm trying to read what it actually says on the back. It's a fating what? I'm just trying to read what it says. So it's got a life 45 minutes, 45 centimeters long, that is. So just over, just 18 inches and 3.7 kilogram, 36 volts. That volts and amperage is different in it, John, I think. So they've got this edge trimmer, but the thing that I'm actually blown away with is they've got this blower, okay? And the thing about the blower, when you want to grout your porcelain, though it's great for blowing the leaves up, for me, with this, there it is, with this, be careful here now, this will dry all the joints up. It will dry all the joints up, okay, before you start grouting, okay? So that's all the cordless tools from ITS. Get on their website, www.its.co.uk, its.co.uk. They're great guys down there, honest. And they've told me that they want to be giving away something again next week to you guys. But look, one thing I never ever mention on here is that I run a Facebook group and it's called Landscape Survival with Johnyboy. It's a great group. We've built a real good community on there. And I was in talks and I work with a lot of paving companies and paving suppliers. But I got to say that there was one company that really stuck with us and has been working with us for some time. And that company is Sandstone Supply, okay? Sandstone Supplies work, they're up in up north, up Cheshire, so they're called Sandstone Supplies. The guy's name is Chris Ayres. He runs the business. Yeah, this is a cup, but I just want to show you that. He runs a business with his wife, Liz, and they work really, really hard. I mean, they really do. So, you know, I'm not telling you to use them, but just look them up, have a look, see what they've got. They're a great company, and they're hard workers. They do the daily grind like us, day in and day out. So we've got to say a big thank you to Chris and Liz. Now, see, and remember, I am not getting paid to say this. I'm not getting paid to say this. The other thing I was going to say is people keep talking. John, I don't know what you actually think, but every time I mix my slurry up for my slabs, everybody says you can mix your own up. Yeah, you can mix your own up. But for me, it tends to dry out so fast, and maybe I should put a bit more water within it, and I don't feel that it's as good as the Easy Prime from Aspects. There it is. That's the Easy Prime. Have a look. Easy Prime from Aspects. That works absolutely perfect for me. There we are. So just go on their site and have a look. They've also got... That was heavy. They've also got... Soon, eventually, we will be working from a studio, so we'll be able to do this in a studio. And of course, they've got the Easy Grout as well, and that works. I mean, it's absolutely perfect. Works perfect for me. And when if something's not going wrong, you just stick with it. So we'll put that down. But they actually have this one out now. This is the Easy Joint Pro. Okay, it's a 2-part one that you actually mix up heavy duty perm or jointing compound. And it does work. I've seen it and it looks great, but you've got to be careful with these products, and it's so important that these companies actually have some sort of training videos on how to install it. But what they need people like me to explain to you guys how it works. So that's their Easy Joint Pro. I wanted to tell you all about it because that's been sat in the undisclosed location for some time. Just going to read a couple of comments there before you go at the moment, because we got our weekends to get on with. Let's have a look now. Let's have a look. So Chris Pugh, thanks John. So sand and screed, then membrane, then the rest of the... See, that's what it's all about. I love it. John Ward was on it when I was talking there and helping people out. Clive Drummond says, put the membrane on top of the MOT, make sure it will whack down enough that you can use the sand in the weather. Here we are. Lime 6 mil, 2 mil to 6 mil limestone granite, then another membrane, then the grass. Obviously slightly wet. Do you need 2 membranes? I don't think you do. Yeah, it seems to be better, we find. Our suppliers, Chris, advised on sand being interesting to see what Johnny thinks. Our suppliers, Chris, TONR, advised on sand. Be interesting to see what Johnny thinks. You'll have to tell me what you're talking about there, because I've lost the train of thought. I moved from sand to granite dust. Well, the thing is about sand is that you can't use building sand. And years ago, when we used to use sharp sand, what you'll find is across the country, sand changes from one area to another area. And years ago, when it was dredged where we were, it was really full of, you know, it had everything in there, so it did drain really, really well. But I wouldn't necessarily... I think small amounts of sand are okay just to fine off, but certainly not too thick. It's not always a good thing. Grano or sharp? Well, I don't know. I just think that it's up to you. The thing is about the grano, it is still sort of like a bit sort of like rough. Looking to see what's the best place for weed made. Looking to see what best place for weed. Matt, have a look online, bud. You can phone Tudor Grass in Manchester. They've got a membrane that they use that they recommend, and it's a good one. And it comes in a big roll. There are lots out there. I mean, there's just so much. I think that the important thing is that it's okay listening to me sometimes, but unless I got the specification in front of me. So if you just type weed suppressant membrane or geotextile membranes, there's so many out there, and that's the only thing I can say. So what I always do, I phone up these companies and I speak to their technical department and I get them to explain to me in layman's terms, because, you know, when you're out there, it's just a minefield. It's just a minefield. Oh, I needed that. I needed that. So there you are. That's the Saturday morning live. I apologise for last week. I apologise for not getting those products out. If you feel that there's something else that we can do to help to improve these live shows, I want to get some more callers in, but obviously it can't. Sorry, best position before MOT. Well, do you know the thing is about it is that if you've got compacted sub base, right, and then you've got your membrane and then your grass, I just can't see how anything's going to come through. The only part where you'll see that weeds will come through is on the edge between the grass and the paving, or near a border, or if you haven't got a brick edge or a border to define your edge between the actual earth border and the flower border and your grass, you're going to get weeds, and you'll get weeds growing in between the bricks. That's probably why you need to point the bricks as well, to make sure that no seeds gets down there. So you'll get germination, pollination through wind, through birds. You would not believe what gets carried on a bird's foot. And when they poop, those seeds come out and they'll start germinating as well. The other thing that you've got to watch is if you've got an ash tree nearby, they can be really detrimental. And any other airborne sort of seed pollinators that get onto your grass, it's going to be a problem. There's no ifs or buts about it. It's going to happen. And like I said, when you start brushing off your patio and you're next to your grass, you will get those weeds. They just do. But I think if you just put one membrane, it's just absolutely fine. I just can't see. The only reason you would put a membrane under a sub base and where you're laying it on the substrate, that's as a stabilizer. It's not as a weed suppressant membrane. If you've got so much, like 4 or 5 inches, 3 inches, I can't see any weeds coming through at all. As long as you don't puncture the membrane, it will be weed free. So that's the idea of putting a bit of sand down over the MOT first. Yeah, absolutely. Perhaps whiteboard when explaining levels, etc. might help, Johnyboy. Yeah, I think so. We can do that. Should membrane be directly under the grass then? Yeah, in my opinion, yeah, absolutely directly under the grass, in my opinion. I just can't see the benefits of putting something down really, really low unless it's a stabilizer. Yeah, like Clive Drummond says, you know, it's just, that's the benefit of it, really. So you'll get different types of membrane. You'll get different thicknesses. You'll get different fibers. And that's why you've got to check out with these companies. I remember probably going back about 28 years ago where a customer asked us to cover a bank, okay, to level a bank off, to put a membrane down. And he said to me, don't worry, we've ordered the membrane. And I'll tell you who it was through. It's not, I'm not slating them. It was just, that's a fact who it came from. And I think their understanding wasn't, they didn't understand what was required. And they needed a membrane, and it come from Travis Perkins, and it was in Newbridge, I think it was, many, many years. This customer was, and he had a very big bank, and it was quite steep, so we had to peg all this membrane down. The membrane arrived, and I didn't know much. 28 years ago, I didn't know much about membranes as what I do now, but even now, I still take technical advice. So what had happened, all the brambles had started to grow underneath the membrane, and the reason for this was because the light was still coming through. That was the thing, the light was still coming through. Though we had put bark on all over, the bark had blown off in places, and it was a bit of a disaster, to be honest. So when he got back to the company, he phoned the company up that supplied the membrane to Travis Perkins, and there was a green colour membrane, and that was to stop the light coming through. And then we pegged it down, and it worked. It just stopped all the weeds, everything coming through. So you've got to know that the science behind things now these days, not just with membranes, everything. The technical data, the science, how it works is absolutely amazing. So you need to look into it a little bit more. Though we got to take advice off our landscapers, okay, they ain't gonna know it all. they're just not going to know it all. And the thing is, the most important thing is, as long as you're accountable for your work and you're able to sort of explain things, we just need to do our own work a little bit more and work with our customer. Going to see what Clive Drummond says. Remember, if a client has dogs, they will wee and sand will hold the blow, and the grass, it will smell. If you use 2 to 6 mil, it will drain better. You still want to say to using cleaner products on your lawn. Say to use. Yeah, I get that. No, Clive's absolutely right. Yeah, what happens is the sand will hold the wee, and you know, it's not good, and it's not good when you're working on a project and dogs are weeing and pooing on there when you're working as well. Like, so that's not good at all. So if you are a consumer, think about how your garden should be when these contractors arrive, because there is some onus of responsibility when contractors are working in gardens. Yeah, I think there is a legal obligation to make sure that that they stay healthy. And these, you know, you just got to think about what you're doing, really, haven't you? Now you're working. Luke Davies says, do most of your jobs include clients who have already chosen their porcelain slab, or do you tend to provide the materials also? I'll tell you, Alan Bagshaw, morning, mate. Catch you later, no problem at all, Alan. Good to see you. Luke, what I actually do is, I think the thing is with this current climate is that you always need to show samples to your clients, and sometimes you turn up with a small little square sample like that, and it's not a good thing at all to show them that product of that size, and it's no good just showing one slab. So what we tend to do, we point them in the direction where we think they may get a good deal on a good product, and what they tend to do is make arrangements to go and see them at their showroom, and then they can make an informed decision without their contractor. Though as a contractor you can advise and lead them in a direction, but then primarily it's up to them about what they choose. Though if you're a landscaper, you're doing the job. If you're a designer, you're helping them through that process and helping them to understand how to choose and look at the pros and cons of the products they're actually choosing. Clive Drummond says, we refuse to work if a dog, cat messes everywhere. Make a point of saying to your clean up first as working with hands. Yeah, I totally agree. Totally agree. Top notch. Morning, Bud. How's it going? I totally agree with Clive Drummond on that point. Well, there you are. John Ward says, if you have big dogs and more than one, I would like to think twice about artificial grass, as there is no soil or microorganism to break the urine down. That leads to the most awful smell. I've seen this. I agree. 100%. 100%. The thing I was going to say, John, while you're here, and Clive, while you're actually talking, is that when we think about putting those layers on and that build-up, that horizon of sub-bases or grano dust or sharp sand, my personal opinion, that the more that you compact that level, the more that you compact it, the harder it's going to become, and the less chance of the water permeating down through that hardcore. Okay, the less chance there is of the water permeating down through that hardcore. I would suggest that what you've got to think of, everybody will have an idea about artificial grass, right, and how it should be installed, right? But the fact is, if the water can go through a smaller area and get down into the ground and get back into the ground and permeate back into the ground, that's a great thing. Yeah, that's a great thing, because the water will get back down into the ground. And what you've got to remember is you only need it compacted just like a real lawn, where if you're walking on it, the ground isn't compromised. So when Alan Tidmarsh used to rake those lawns over the years ago, and he used to lay those lawns on ground force, whatever you believe in it, he was a gardener, he understood it. He always said that the compaction rate should be enough for the water to go through. So when you're walking on it, foot compaction should be enough. And I know that you want it level and you compact it with a compactor plate, but you don't want it too hard. You've got to remember is that when that grass is fixed from A to B, all right, and you've got the backing like you have on it, it shouldn't be compromised in any shape or form. And I'm going to be talking about this very, very soon, because there's a project that I want to talk about where we'll leave it at that. We'll be talking about it in the future. That's it. We've nearly hit the hour button, and that's where we're going to have to leave it. Thank you for just staying with me for just a moment. I've got to say a big thank you to ITS, the supporters of the live stream. It's just the carpet. Clients should think on the artificial for a reason. The cosmetics, not magic, bulletproof or free or maintenance garden. Couldn't put it any better myself. No dog, so okay. Issue late from the pub. Mrs. locks me out. Brilliant. Close to me said, yeah, you don't want whack like a patio sub base. Yeah. No, Clive, I agree, and I'm actually glad that you actually said that, because it's just a valid point. You don't need to whacker it like you would whack a. This is what. Honest, you just got to get this into your head. You don't whack it in the same way as what you would whack a patio or a driveway, because that artificial grass has only got a number of holes in there for the water to get through there. So you're reducing the amount of water that can get back down into the ground. So you have to think about that. There's a lot to be said. And I know for a fact there's people across the country whacking the ground in compacting it, I should say, rather, in a way that can be detrimental again. Just going to read the last comment. John Allen says, thanks, John. Ward also, yeah, absolutely. He's an absolute star. What would this channel be without John Ward and Clive Drummond and Luke as well as on here? You're all part of it. You're all part of the community. Thanks for joining the Saturday morning live with Johnyboy. My apologies for last week. That's it. Have a great weekend. Be safe, and see you next week. Don't forget, give us a call, 07795 595 994. I'm going to stick the rugby on. All the best. No worries, John. Bye-bye.